All right, so how many worry warts do we have out there? Do you struggle with worry? Raise up your hand. You worry. How many of you worry a lot? Raise your hand. It's okay, I'm not going to make fun of you. How many of you never worry at all? You never worry. Raise your hand. Really? Get out. No. Wow, we should probably have you up here preaching. I don't know what your secret is. I think most of us worry in some way, shape, or form. You know, you get into that what if game. Something happens and in your mind it begins to escalate. Sometimes nothing is happening at all and people worry over nothing. But there is a lot to worry about in our culture today. I mean, just open up the newspaper in the morning. I'll go to a news website and look at all that's happening. Nations like North Korea having nuclear weapons and threatening to use them. Now, Iran is right on the verge of getting their own nuclear weapons, and they have already threatened to use them against the United States, and on multiple occasions have threatened to wipe Israel off the face of the map. And then there's the continued bad news about the economy. Despite our government's reassurances, things don't really seem to be improving at all. And there are those concerns that you could lose your house or your savings would be diminished even more. Then there are those personal worries, your own health, your family, and much, much more. So here's the interesting thing. A poll was taken and people were asked, what do you worry about the most? And the number one response in this poll taken among Americans was, my appearance. I love that. I may lose my house, my life savings, I may get wiped off the earth in a nuclear blast, but how do I look in this outfit? Things don't change much, do they? 2,000 years ago, Jesus said, don't be like the non-believers who only worry about what they're going to eat, what they're going to drink, and what they're going to wear. Fast forward, number one concern, my appearance. Those outward things. Among other things that made the top 10 list were worries were having your credit card declined in public. How many of you have had that happen? Just saying. No one wants to admit it. Okay. Also being audited by the IRS. No, I won't ask that. And finally, having to speak publicly. So let me ask you, what do you worry about the most? What causes you the greatest stress? There's an old fable that is told about a man who came face to face with the dangers of worry. As the story is told, Death was walking toward a city one morning, and a man asked, what are you going to do? Death said, today I'm going to take 100 people. That's horrible, the man said. In response, Death says, well, that's what I do. That's the way it is. And so the man ran ahead of Death and warned everyone about Death's plan. That evening he met Death again. He said, you told me you were only going to take 100 people. Why did 1,000 die? I kept my word, Death responded. I only took 100 people. Worry took the others. That's how life can often work. This interesting tale portrays so well the fact that half of all of the people in America's hospital beds today are constant worriers. 43% of all adults suffer health effects due to worry and stress. And research has found that 75% to 90% of all visits to primary care physicians are stress-related complaints or disorders. You could write on countless American gravestones this epitaph, hurried, worried, buried. We spend our lives full of anxiety and frustration and worry. And here's the thing you need to think about. Most of what you worry about actually never happens. Dr. Walter Calvert did some research on this and discovered that only 8% of the things that people worried about were legitimate matters of concern. The other 92% were either imaginary, never happened, or involved matters over which people had no control anyway. So, in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus gives the biblical worldview on anxiety and worry.